Hello and good evening, everyone. I am Swapnil Kumar Sahu, a sophomore of Computer Science and Engineering and a technical member of Enigma VSSUT. We welcome all on behalf of Google Developer Student Clubs VSSUT. Here we are at the day one of Flutter Learning Series, a final series of workshops for you to start building production ready apps. Today, I am going to cover the session Dart and Flutter Basics. So, what is Dart? Dart is a client optimized language for developing fast apps on any platform. Its goal is to offer the most productive programming language for multi platform development, paired with a flexible execution runtime platform for app frameworks. Languages are defined by their technical envelope, the choices made during development that shape the capabilities and strengths of a language. Dart is designed for a technical envelope that is particularly suited to client development, prioritizing both development and high quality production experiences across a wide variety of compilation targets. Dart also forms the foundation of Flutter. Dart provides the language and runtimes that power Flutter apps, but Dart also supports many core developer tasks like formatting, analyzing, and testing code. Okay, so today I'm going to cover about the variables, data structures, flow control, conditionals, functions, and classes. I'm assuming you all have a basic idea about the general programming language like Python or C. So this is Dartpad, which is basically a platform for us to test out some Dart codes. So on the left, we can have our code, and on the right, we have the console, which is where we are going to print out the results. To get started with Dart, let's write a traditional Hello World program. This is the main function, and it is the print statement with quotation. It's the run button, and see, here we got the Hello World. Okay, so variables. A variable is a named space in the memory that stores the value. There are different variables such as the integers, the integer with a variable data type integer with max number of people 35. Okay, see, it prints with peeps 35. Then we have a double, stores floating values. Value of pi value is 3.14. And we have also have the strings. The data type is string with variable and get codes name. Here the dollar sign prints the variable. Here is the Flutter Learning Series. And we have to the Boolean, where bool is the data type, is dart goal is the variable, and true. If true, then print. Yeah, it is true. Okay. So next we have the flow control flow statements. In this, we are going to talk about how control flow works in Dart. Let's start with what is control flow. In simple words, is the order in which your code is executed. So let's see some program on control flow. So in main function, we have bool is Dart cool true. If it is true, then it will print hello true. So here it is with the else statement. See. Okay, if bool Dart is false, it prints. I think Dart is pretty cool. And we have the conditionals. At times, certain instructions require repeated execution, such as the for loops and the while loops. Here in the main function, we have a string, my message that Dart is fun, and in the for loop it prints 5 times. Yeah, Dart is super fun. Then for the while statement, a bool loop flag equals to true. Is true, and I0, while loop flag. If I is less than 4, then print Dart true. Let's run this code. Yes, see, it prints uh, up to I is equal to 4. So next, functions. Functions are created when certain statements are repeatedly occurring in the program and a function is created to replace them. Here you can see as Fibonacci is used as a recursive function. Let's see some example function without the parameters. Here is a function bool, uh, function of type boolean is dart cool function. Is dart cool is a variable which is set to false and it returns the value. I think Dart is pretty cool. Let's see function with some parameters. Here we pass the parameter as true. It passed to the my parameter where it returns true. Okay. Next. List. Perhaps the most common collection in nearly every programming language is the array or ordered groups of objects. In Dart, arrays are list objects, so most people just call them list. Okay, so let's have a basic program on list. List is a data structure of variable string with the name of the week, and it has the element Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The first print, it prints the name of the weeks with all the elements and length of the list. Suppose if you have written name of the week dot length prints the number of element in the list. So now working with the list, or each print helps us to print all the elements in a column. Let's check out this dereference list items. Here you see list month 0. It is for only one indexing. Next, adding list items. We have the list of January, February, and March, but we have to add April. And it's okay. Okay, we got April. I hope you understand this for each. Maps. In general, a map is an object that associates keys and values. Both keys and values can be any type of object. Each key occurs only once, but you can use the same value multiple times. Dart support for maps is provided by map literals and the map type. Here we have uh, the value string, and uh, so here we have the key as string and the value as integer. Cake. uh, Cake is the key which has a value of 500. Donuts has a calories of 150. Keys has 100. Check some more code. Okay. So variable days in week, new map. It sets a map as a 0 is the key and Sunday is the value. 0 Sunday, 1 Monday, 2 is Tuesday. Okay, let's see some more functionalities with the maps. Suppose find a key in a map. We have 3 maps: Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and the list of films. If list films first equals to nulls, the key doesn't exist. As it isn't null, it prints the key exists. So next is find a value in a map. Okay. Yeah, we have the map Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back with title as a key. Star Wars is the value, same as Empire Strikes Back. List films first it maps to the Star Wars, and second maps to the Empire Strikes Back. Maps first film, list films second. It prints the Empire Strikes Back uh, with title and the year. Okay. Now adding content to a map. Okay. Here, first we print the list of films. List of films. The first title Star Wars, year 1977. Second title The Empire Strikes Back, year 1980. The first title is Star Wars, year 1977. First year. Okay. Second, the title The Empire Strikes Back, 1980. The title Empire Strikes Back in 1980. Okay. See with maps and the list. So okay, here we have a map with string as the key and dynamic as the variable. Film Star Wars, film Empire, film Jedi. With list, we have the elements as the maps. Okay. Okay. So we have a index to the film 2, 0, 1, 2. Let's run this. It should print this film Jedi. See here. Title Return of the Jedi, year 1983. Return of the Jedi is the title. We have next the classes. In this section, we learn how to declare a class and use them in Dart. At a high level, we need to know about the following. Dart is an object-oriented language. Classes establish an object's functionalities. Objects have functions and data. Classes use constructors to initialize setting. Here is a class Gerrit, variable string ID, user ID, subject. The constructor with parameters ID, user ID, and subject, and initialized. Okay. See a code with classes with the parameters. It's a class Flutter Dev. Flutter Dev, a constructor with no parameters. It prints I am a Flutter developer. See, in the main function, we variable type of developer, new. Okay, Flutter Dev. Let's see for class with parameter. I have a passed value as Swapnil. I am a $name, which represents my name here, hopefully. I am Swapnil, a Flutter developer. Yes, I got it right. So, Dart is an object-oriented language with classes and mixin-based inheritance. Every object is an instance of a class, and all classes accept null descent from object. Mixin-based inheritance means that although every class has exactly one superclass, a class body can be reused in multiple class hierarchies. Extension methods are a way to add functionality to a class without changing the class or creating a subclass. So, next. Flutter. Flutter is the first UI platform that is designed for an ambient computing world. What is Flutter? Flutter is a Google's SDK for crafting beautiful, fast user experiences for mobile, web, and desktop from a single code base. Flutter works with existing code, is used by developers and organizations around the world, and is free and open source. Flutter is fast. Take the speed limiter of your app. Productive. Develop while your app is running. Beautiful. No compromises for your designer. Open. Everything is free and open source. Portable. Same code runs everywhere. So here we have the widgets. Flutter widgets are built using a modern framework that takes inspiration from React. The central idea is that you build your UI out of widgets. Widgets describe what their view should look like given their current configuration and state. When a widget's state changes, the widget rebuilds its description, which the framework differs against the previous description in order to determine the minimal changes needed in the underlying render tree to transition from one state to the next. Basically, widgets can be uh, is divided on the basis of stateless widgets and the stateful widgets. Stateless widget class, a widget that does not require mutable state. A stateless widget is a widget that describes part of the user interface by building a constellation of other widgets that describe the user interface more concretely. It remains static throughout its life cycle. The example of the stateless widget are text, row, column, container, etc. For example, think of an elaborate arrangement of rows, columns, paddings, and sized boxes to position a single child in a particularly fancy manner. Consider just using just an align or a custom child layout. Then we have the stateful widget class, a widget that has mutable state. A stateful widget has state information. It contains mainly two classes, the state object and the widget. It is dynamic, or it can change the inner data during the widget line. This widget does not have a build method. It has create state method, which returns a class that extends the Flutter state class. The example of the stateful widget are checkbox, radio, slider, inkwell, form, and the text field. So moving to the basic widgets. Flutter comes with a suite of powerful basic widgets. The following are commonly used. Text. The text widget lets you create a random text in your application. Row. These text widgets let you create flexible layouts in both horizontal and vertical directions. The design of the object is based on the web's Flexbox layout model. Layout widgets. The core of Flutter's layout mechanism is widgets. In Flutter, almost everything is a widget. Even layout models are widgets. The images, icons, and text that you see in a Flutter app are all widgets. But things you don't see are also widgets, such as the rows, columns, and grids, and that arrange, constrain, and align the visible widgets. Here we have the single child layout widgets. Align, a widget that aligns its child within itself and optionally sizes itself based on the child's size. Aspect ratio, a widget that attempts to size the child to a specific aspect ratio. Baseline, a widget that positions its child according to the child's baseline. Center, a widget that centers its child within itself. Constraint box, a widget that imposes additional constraints on its child. Container, a convenience widget that combines common painting, positioning, and sizing widgets. Padding, a widget that inserts its child by the given padding. Sized box, a box with a specified size. If given a child, this widget forces its child to have a specific width and height. We have the multi-child layout widgets. Column. Layout a list of child widgets in the vertical direction. Row. List, uh, Layout a list of child widgets in the horizontal direction. Grid view. A grid list consists of repeated pattern of cells arrayed in a vertical and horizontal layout. The grid view widget complements this component. List view, a scrollable linear list of widget. List view is the most commonly used scrolling widget. It displays its children one after another in the scroll direction. Stack. This class is useful if you want to overlap several children in a simple way, for example, having some text and an image overlaid. There are many widgets. You should go through the Flutter documentation. Next, to create a row or column in Flutter, you add a list of uh, children widgets to a row or column widget. In turn, each child can itself be a row or column, and so on. The following example shows how it is possible to nest rows or columns inside of rows or columns. This layout is organized as a row. The row contains two children, a column on the left and an image on the right. The left column's widget tree nests rows and columns. I hope it is clearly visible. Okay. In the following example, each of the three images is 100 pixels wide. The render box is more than 300 pixels wide. So setting the main axis alignment to a space evenly divides the free horizontal space evenly between before and after each image. The column works as the same way. The following example shows a column of three images, each is 100 pixels. The height of the render box is more than 300 pixels. So set the main axis alignment to space evenly, divide the free vertical space evenly between above and below each image. Now we have come to the end of the session. There's more to come on the we have a session 2 on creating UI Flutter. So keep the move on. So if anybody has any queries or doubts regarding today's session, you can ask. If you have any doubts, put in the chat box. Any queries? No, it's just an online compiler for testing out a Dart code. So, okay, these are the social media handles. Follow us on our websites and stay tuned for more amazing sessions from GDSC VSSUT. You can join our Discord channel and ask your doubts there. Thank you all, especially our audience, for being so amazing and enthusiastic. Thank you for everyone for joining us.